Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. If you watched my previous video about me opening up the sponsorship package with 100%, awesome. Today, I got my bike back from the paint shop. My buddy Max DeVore painted this beautiful thing, and it is a gloss chameleon type color way. It changes color out in the sun, but up close you can see the carbon. I wanted to make sure that the carbon was really defined, and yeah, just make it a little bit different than some of the other bikes that I've seen. Also, I got a few frames or a few parts powder coated, yeah, it should be a pretty sick build. Basically, the main reason I was wanting to make this video was that I figured I was in a very unique position building up a bike without a sponsor, because normally we ride for sponsors and we have to nice talk the products and, you know, just do our job. And so this build is going to be completely non-biased, and yeah, I'm just going to show you kind of the parts that I choose to ride and why I ride them. Some people have different preferences. This is just kind of what I figured I would like. And so yeah, so let's just get straight into it. So like I said, starting off, I just kept the same frame. Honestly, more so because I'm used to the setup, and Phoenix is in, 2 weeks now. I didn't really want to change up too much. Another thing is I actually prefer the carbon. At the end of the day, I think it's just a bike. Anybody that's fast can make a bike go fast. All right, so first things first, aside from why I'm inside, I'm from California, and truth be told, if it gets in the 30s, I'm not gonna be outside. So yeah, a little too cold for me to build outside. Other than that, that's why I'm in my room. But first line of business is the bottom bracket. I personally use the tangent bottom bracket, more so because of this little plate. Normally on other bottom brackets, I think the only other one, don't quote me on this, that I know of that has this aluminum or whatever kind of metal plate this is Croupi. And honestly, it's because when you go on this bearing, it provides us a nice smooth thing. The other ones with plastic, you know, if I'm putting the cranks on too hard, it kind of squishes the bottom bracket, then the plastic causes friction on the bearings. It just doesn't spin very well. So that's why I use the tangent. All right, now that I've just finished installing the bottom bracket, also not a sponsor, but probably arguably one of the best cranks in BMX. This is why I'm just gonna shout them out, just because, I mean, it's kind of no secret. Shimano DXR, I think it's the pinnacle crank. I think the only thing that honestly people would ask for is that they would make them in black. And obviously, since I'm not sponsored, I'm not gonna run the logos. So yeah, I got them powder coated. A guy by the name of Ashton Palmer hooked me up and powder coated these cranks. They're awesome. He's out of Washington, and I'll leave his Instagram linked in the bio below. Yeah, like I said, I run 175 millimeter cranks. Pretty basic, honestly. I'm not obviously super tall. I'm not super short either, so kind of just in the middle. And like I said, now that I get to kind of choose everything that I'm wanting to do and everything that I'm wanting to represent and ride, yeah, DXRs are kind of a no-brainer. And that's how you get free flowing cranks. Like I said, bottom bracket plus the crank combo doesn't really get much better. Just make sure they're not super loose. And yep, they're the cranks. All right, next I have the carbon fork to match. It's the same kind of, this can give you a really good look at how you can see the carbon in it, but it also changes color. It is a 1.8" to a 1.5. It's an oversized. It's pretty standard now in most carbon bikes and stuff, but yeah, I guess not everything has it, but it's tapered, makes everything just a little stiffer. I guess you shouldn't have problems putting in your bearing into the bottom of the frame, but apparently I do, so Give me one sec. Awesome. There you go. See, you don't always need tools. All right. So that is the frame and fork on now. And yeah, like I said, it's just kind of for, like the bigger head tube is more so for the stiffness of the bike. And yeah. Next, we have the bar stem. Probably one of the most important parts of the bike build. I personally run an oversized bar. I'm sure you could guess the name. There's only about 2 companies out there that make an oversized bar, and then Gus from Profile has hooked me up with the stem this past year, helped me try, and I love it. So it's a Profile 31.8 millimeter stem, and then I run ODI Sensus grips, and then another no-brainer for the brakes. You guys know the best brakes in the game. I just wanted a nice black clean look, and yeah, that's gonna be the top of my, or the front of my bike. Was up in the air about my spacers. I know it doesn't really make a huge difference, but I do have an oil slick spacer that I don't know if it's gonna make look better or not. So I think I'm gonna start off by going oil slick, just because that's the only thing left on my bike that would need to be oil slick. And then, yeah, everything else on the bike's gonna be black. All right, next is a Rennen gear. Obviously, I would think Rennen is probably the most known and popular sprocket on the market, just because of the decimals and the back threaded. Sorry, I'm trying not to scratch this thing. But yeah, just because of the decimals and kind of the way they've innovated the teeth on the sprockets. I go between a 47 and a 44, just kind of depending on what I'm running. Phoenix is coming up, so I'm gonna just throw my race gear on here. And yeah, I have ran actually not a lot of different brands of gears since I've been like my own mechanic and been older and riding and stuff. I've tried Box before, and they're not terrible, but I think that for what Rennen offers with the threads in the back of the sprocket, so I don't need the back ends of chainring bolts, and just for the grip of the teeth safety, you can't really beat a Rennen gear. I've also, knock on wood, never really even had a problem, and have been riding this gear for over a year now, so, or maybe a little less, but more so a long time, longer than it should, and it's still going, you know, just fine. So Rennen gear. The only other thing left to do with this front sprocket area would be the pedals. And hold on. Double, triple, quadruple check. So next year we have the pedals. Not a sponsor, but pretty much kind of standard like Shimano, are the HT pedals. I got them black on black, the SX version. Again, whoa, looking for an 8. Again, knock on wood, but I personally have never had a problem with HT pedals. I don't think I've ever come unclipped in a race. And yeah, so just for what pedals are concerned, I would say you can't really go wrong with HT pedals. And again, I was even sponsored by them last year. Not hating on them at all, but that's just the thing. I don't think you can get much better. All right, now the only other thing that pretty much goes on the bike are the wheels. I run the Onyx SH Ultra. Honestly, I'd prefer them in black, and I actually have a black set, but I just don't have them built up yet. And then a Carbon Speedline rim I've had the last 3 years. Honestly, I would say Carbon's probably the go-to in the rims. I've ran a bunch of rims, aluminum that have tacoed from casing. I'm not the smoothest rider out there. And so yeah, I think carbon's the way to go. Haven't had a problem. I haven't ran any other ones other than Speed line, to be completely honest. So I'm not sure how other carbon works or how other carbon, you know, compares, but relatively speaking, yeah, carbon's the way to go. So next we have the chain. It is a KMC HX chain. It is a little bit heavier than a normal chain, but I personally have broken a few SRAM chains, and so yeah, weight is not a factor to me anymore. I guess I could say most of my bike is pretty light, and I do go light with like Tubolito tubes, which is pretty standard now in BMX, and carbon frame, carbon fork, all that type of stuff. But I can't risk going too light on the chains anymore. And yeah, personally, I've never had a problem with any other chains, any other specific type of KMC chains. But it's just, this is kind of a chain that I found that I like. It's also black, so it kind of just ties in with everything, which is super nice. And it does do more of the old-fashioned snap link. I don't know what you want to call that. Whatever it is, it's not the traditional, or not that it's not traditional, but it's not the master link or whatever that the most chains have. So last but not least, I have the brakes. I just use Shimano Dior brakes. I'm gonna be completely honest, Shimano kind of makes the best brake system in my opinion. I use the Avian carbon pads because I have carbon rims, obviously. And yeah, I've had DXR cranks over the years that are good, and honestly I found that these are just as good. They're pretty cheap. I mainly got them because they're black. Obviously with this bike I've themed to go pretty much black on anything that I possibly can. So to avoid making my bike be silver and stuff, I went with the Dior's. Honestly, there's colorway. Like, it's like, fortunately and unfortunately, I get it, it's a cool idea, so that's why obviously there's a few people out there, but I know a few people that have this kind of chameleon type colorway, and they go silver, and it actually makes the color pop out really nice. But personally, I just kind of want to be as stealth mode as possible, and obviously it gives me the chance to be a little bit different. Obviously, I understand it's not a ton different, but it's better than nothing. A life hack. Buy Velcro, the local Target, Walmart, whatever, and I put it right underneath by the chainstay, just because, man, like, you buy an expensive frame, whether it's carbon or aluminum, and your chain can come up and slap your frame, obviously, make it sound super bad and janky, and it just saves you, it saves the paint. So I typically just go buy some Velcro, and we'll add some Velcro to the bottom, like I said, so it doesn't come up and hit the chain. That way when it's loose, if it loosens up, it doesn't come up and hit the frame. There's nothing, it's touching the frame but you can't hear it, so your bike doesn't sound like it's gonna blow up. And then yeah, also on the brake cable, I haven't put the brake cable things in yet because I put some Velcro in here as well because there's a little bit of chatter and I don't like that, so that compresses the sound as well. Alright, now that the final touches are done, I'm going to take her off the stand, make sure that the front wheel's straight, and show you the final product. Since the last time, or all I did was throw it on the front wheel, did a little personalization with a little Cam Larson sticker, and yeah, can't wait to see it outside.